Private islands are sold as the ultimate paradise. Total freedom, total privacy, no rules. But here's what nobody tells you. Private islands don't remove your problems. They magnify them. And for many owners, that dream paradise quickly becomes a prison. This is the dark truth behind owning your own piece of the world. Instagram shows us the dream, right? White sand, palm trees swaying, crystal clear turquoise water. What it doesn't show is the crushing isolation. No neighbors to borrow a cup of sugar from. No hospitals just around the corner. No quick exits when things go wrong. When a medical emergency strikes or a critical piece of equipment fails on a private island, help isn't minutes away. It's hours, sometimes even days. That feeling of luxury feels very different when you realize you're completely cut off from the world, a tiny speck in a vast ocean. The fantasy is a tropical screensaver. The reality is a high-stakes survival game where you're the only player. Suddenly, the silence isn't peaceful anymore. It's deafening. And the costs? A private island isn't a one-time purchase. It's a permanent, relentless obligation. Think of it as a living, breathing entity that constantly needs to be fed money. You're not just buying land, you're buying an entire infrastructure. You have to pay for power generation because there's no national grid to plug into. You need water desalination plants just to have something to drink. You have to build and maintain housing for your staff because where else will they live? Then there's security, emergency transport for supplies and people, and the constant battle against nature itself. Storm season doesn't care about your net worth. Every year, hurricanes and tropical storms send a bill in the form of devastating damage, and that bill is always expensive. Owning an island isn't relaxing on a beach, it's running a small, very vulnerable city-state. Now, let's talk about the biggest selling point, privacy. It's the ultimate irony, because on a private island, you've never been more watched. To make your paradise function, you need a small army of people. You have your personal staff, your groundskeepers, your security teams patrolling the perimeter. You have suppliers constantly arriving by boat or plane, delivering food, fuel, and equipment. You have pilots and boat crews who know your every arrival and departure. Someone always knows where you are and what you're doing. The illusion of being alone is just that, an illusion. True privacy doesn't come from building a wall of water around yourself. It comes from anonymity, the ability to blend in. And owning a high-profile, isolated island completely destroys any chance of that. Beyond the physical challenges, there are the political and legal nightmares you'd never consider. Most private islands aren't sovereign nations. They exist under the jurisdiction of a foreign government. That means you are subject to their laws, their taxes, and their political whims. A new government can come into power overnight and change everything. Suddenly, permits you thought were permanent are revoked. Your ownership can be questioned. The land can be reclassified or even seized. You might own the deed to the land, but you don't own the sovereignty. You're essentially renting stability from a foreign power, and that lease can be terminated at any time, leaving you with a multi-million-dollar asset that you can't access or control. Your paradise is built on a foundation you have absolutely no power over. This extreme isolation does strange things to the human mind. It sounds peaceful at first, a welcome escape from the noise of the modern world. But it doesn't stay that way. Many island owners report spiraling into anxiety and paranoia. They develop cabin fever, feeling trapped and restless. Some even describe a frightening detachment from reality. Humans are social creatures. We aren't wired for total separation from society. We need a certain amount of friction, of randomness and unpredictability to stay grounded. When you remove all of that, when every day is perfectly curated and controlled, your mind is nowhere to go but inward. And that internal journey isn't always a peaceful one. The very escape you crave becomes a psychological trap. So here's a secret the real estate agents won't tell you. A shocking number of private islands aren't sold or redeveloped. They are quietly abandoned, just left to be reclaimed by nature. The owners walk away. Why? Because the fantasy expired. The relentless cost and effort of maintenance finally won. The isolation stopped feeling exclusive and started feeling like a sentence. The beautiful dream became a recurring nightmare of logistics, expenses, and loneliness. What they discovered is the fundamental paradox of paradise. It only works when you have the freedom to leave it whenever you want. When leaving becomes a massive logistical challenge, paradise itself becomes the cage. So with all these downsides, why do some ultra-wealthy people still buy them? It's often not for vacations. For a certain class of the super rich, islands serve a different purpose entirely. They are strategic assets. They are a place to park wealth, far from volatile markets or unfavorable tax jurisdictions. They can be strategic retreats, secure locations to wait out global instability or a pandemic. They are crisis exits, a backup plan for when the world goes sideways. They are a form of long-term leverage. For these owners, an island isn't a home. It's not a place for making memories. It's a contingency plan, a piece on a global chessboard. In the end, private islands don't really give you freedom. They test it. They push the limits of your resources, your sanity, and your connection to the world. And the darker truth that many owners discover too late is this: the more you try to escape the world, the more you realize just how much you actually need it. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more truths about the world of the ultra-wealthy, subscribe for more.